Hey everyone, and welcome to the Ask Reaching Your Heights show, episode 3. Today on the show we talk about endurance, practicing at home, and visualization.
My name is Lauren Early, and I am a former 6-time World Irish Dance Champion who is now devoted to helping every dancer achieve big dreams of their own. On each episode, we will bring you the best questions to help you discover and unlock your full potential so that you can benefit in every possible way. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the show.
And welcome to the Ask Reaching Your Heights show, episode 3. Like I was saying before, it has been a hectic few weeks. We've been at the Worlds for a full week. I've been at Belfast doing private lessons. So what I have done is gathered all of your questions, of course, and picked out the main topics that we always get through on a daily basis. So we're going to get answered them today. And also, obviously, being live on Instagram, you send your questions in too, and we will try our best to get to them. So we're going to kick it off with the first question. Lauren, I'm already dancing 5 days per week, but I haven't improved in a year. Do you think I should add in a 6th day? Oh dear, we get that a lot, don't we?
Okay, will I answer?
Yes, you can answer that. We get that a lot.
Okay, so alright. Let's say you're doing 5 days of training. Okay, and obviously this dancer isn't live, so I can't actually ask for this question, but let's say, for example, you're doing 5 days of dance training. How many of those days are actually different, where you're actually working on a different thing? So if you have 5 days of dance training and you break down everything that you require to be a dancer, for example, you require speed, you require stamina, you require really good skills and technique, but you also require really good fitness. You require all of your kind of stage preparation, such as walking and all that sort of stuff. So you have a whole big bunch of things that you need to prepare for. Now, out of those 5 days, how many of those days are you actually repeating the same thing? Because I can pretty much guarantee, and I don't know you, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but from my experience in dancing, out of those 5 days, I can pretty much guarantee that four out of 5 of them are going to be working on exactly the same thing. You're going to go in, it's going to be the same structure. And what that means, guys, is just repetition. So if you're repeating the same thing, how much progress do you expect to get from that? So if you're asking me, okay, you're doing 5 days per week and you're going to add in a 6th. Well, firstly, what is going to be different about that 6th day that isn't already in those 5? Okay, so that's the first thing you got to ask yourself, what's going to be different? If it's just going to be more of the same, then my advice would be no. Because if I run a mile 5 days per week and I go out and run 1 mile every day for 5 days per week, how much different do you think it would be if I add in a 6th mile on the 6th day, but I run it at exactly the same pace? My body's already adapted. I've proven to myself that I can run 1 mile every day at this speed. So adding in a 6th is just more of the same. So you got to challenge your body in a different way, and so it has to be a fresh stimulus for you to actually create progress. Now, if you're dancing 5 days per week, you also got to think about how much of that it's going to place you in conserve mode. So, for example, there's different types of sports. So if you look at a marathon's going to be a conserved sport, because you start a marathon and the idea in your head is that you're going to conserve. Sorry, I was trying to let Instagram see me as well. And the idea behind this is if you're dancing 5 days per week and you're wanting to add in a 6th, but also you got to think about how many of those sessions are you actually going on conservation mode. Now, if you look at a marathon, those guys are going out every day and they're just doing miles, okay? But their body's in conserve mode. You're starting a marathon knowing that you must conserve energy to get to the end, okay? Now, if you're a sprinter, sorry Instagram, if you're a sprinter, you're starting on the line and you're going from A to B as fast as you physically can, and you're not thinking in your head, I gotta conserve. In fact, what you're thinking is, I gotta release, okay? So you have conserve sports and release sports. And if your training is, if you're just overtraining, okay, there's so much volume in your training. Now, what you gotta think about is, are you thinking to yourself when you go in training, I'm gonna go as hard and as fast as I can? Or are you thinking, oh, this is my 5th day, oh, this is my 6th day, oh, my class is 4 hours long, oh, I've got a workshop for 3 days at this weekend, and so on. And so this places your mind in conserve mode straight away. Now, if you're given 4, 5, 6 dances to do back to back, it's the same sort of thing, right? Because your body's thinking, I've got 6 dances to do back to back here, I'm going to conserve myself. And even if you're not thinking it consciously, your body is thinking it subconsciously, because it takes the task, it takes the time that you have to do it for, and it starts diluting the speed at which you do it. Now, there lies the problem, is that if you keep adding in more and more volume, your body is going to find a way to dilute the intensity of everything you do. So more is not better on a speed-based sport, okay? Especially before competition. And we spoke to a lot of dancers at Worlds, and they had this problem, was that they just didn't have a lot of speed or power, sharpness on stage. But when we look at their training that they've done pre-competition, we actually see that there's so much volume. Going into the competition, they were dancing extra days, more home practice. And this creates a lot of problems, because you're then placing your body in conserve mode because you're asking more of it. But then when you step on stage, you've got a 60 to 120 second dance, and then you've got an hour to rest. So it's not similar in any way, because when you step on stage, it's release mode. And you know you can be release mode because you know at the end of it, you're going to get an hour to 2 hours rest, and then you're back on stage. So it has to be similar to competition conditions.
I think as well, I'm going to interrupt you, because Ari dancing has been going on for years upon years, like my granny and all danced and so on, that it is, some people are still thinking old school terms before you even started into strength and conditioning for our sport, because even when I started as well and my sisters were dancing, everything was about volume, and that's all we knew as well. So it was always more days, more hours, and that's the way you want to get better. Until now, we realise, and studying the sport and everything, that I think it's woke everybody up now to be like, oh my god, that actually makes sense, because we're only on stage for like 60 to 90 seconds, and do you know?
But then a lot of people think that Lauren has brought fitness to Irish dancing, but in actual fact, that's not true, because what has actually happened is this generation, how many girls nowadays are going to the gym, working on strength, working on their glutes, working on sprints, on treadmills, hamstrings. So this is all happening whether we do it or not, okay? Whether Lauren chooses to include fitness in Irish dancing or not, it's happening anyway. These girls are coming stronger naturally by default in this generation. And so naturally they're going to be more stronger, powerful, sharp on stage. What Lauren is doing is she's just teaching you all how to take the training and put it in effectively around your training program, so that it actually benefits you the most it can and doesn't get in the way of your dancing. But it's happening anyway, right? So my answer to, what's her name, sorry?
Maeve.
Okay, so my answer to Maeve is, Maeve, if you're going to do more of the same, absolutely not. If you're going to do a sick day of something different, then possibly. What I would do, however, is I would not do an extra day of dancing, because for me, 3 to 4 days at your main sport is exactly where you need to be, unless we're looking at like Olympic level athletes. But on the other days, you can actually look at adding in things that are going to support your training. So if you think about dancing itself, you can either be working on your dancing technique, or you can be working on your dance fitness, right? They're two different things. So when you're going into class, are you thinking about, okay, tonight I'm working on my dance technique, or tonight I'm working on my dance fitness? And let me tell you why both don't work together. Because if you want to improve your fitness in something, you must go to failure. So you must push beyond that point where you can then improve. Now, if you push beyond failure in dancing, you're going to pick up sloppy technique. Okay, it's not to say you can't do it, but if we're doing it every single day or 5-6 days per week, and we're doing it 6 months away from a competition, that's different. If you're going to failure before competitions, you're then picking up sloppy technique, because you cannot dance 2, 3, 4 dances back to back without creating fatigue, okay? And when that happens, the technique will suffer. So you're not working on your technique then, right? Because you're going to failure in your dances. If you're working on technique, you're working on short, sharp segments of it to improve your technique without going to failure. So there are two different things that often get intertwined in a dance class. Now, what you could be doing, however, is working on your dance fitness away from dancing. So what we recommend on a lot of the stuff we'll do in the academy is I'll have you standing upright on a spin bike, and we'll actually get you to mimic a dance position on stage by standing upright, but what we will do is get you to power explosively down through the calf, but you're taking away the impact, okay? Because another thing you have to think about there is now you're adding in a 6 day of impact. A 6 day of inflammation on those joints, knees and shins. What is the purpose of the 6 day? Is it to improve your fitness? If the purpose of the 6 day is to improve your fitness, then what I would do is just work on your fitness outside of dancing. you can improve your fitness without actually dancing, okay? A boxer doesn't box 12 rounds in a ring every day to improve his boxing fitness. He can sprint up hills, he can flip tires, he can do lots of different things. So as a dancer, you can do other things that will mimic dance positions, but you don't actually have to be dancing with the impact. So that's going to improve your fitness, which means in class you can now work on the technique and the skills you need. You combine the both and then you have the perfect dancer, but you don't have 6 days of impact and more of the same, okay?
Makes sense.
It's a lot of detail, but I hope that helped.
Yeah, great.
Should take one off Instagram?
Yes, there's actually loads under Instagram. Let's choose one. You can
Okay,
scroll.
I'm just going to take the first one that has came up. Sorry, they're going so fast. Chloe says she's met you before.
Oh, hi Chloe.
She's going dancing soon. Okay, so Caitlin Simpson, just because you're here, do you have any advice on how to mentally prepare for competitions in terms of working on self-confidence?
Good question, Caitlin. Well, what I always used to do and what I think is really, really important is you need to, like, on my way going to the competition, for example, I always imaged what way the stage would look like, and then I would always put myself into the 3 different positions on stage, so I get all my visualization and get myself mentally prepared, because I used to always think about, well, you're not, no one's allowed to bang into each other on stage, otherwise you just both get marks took off you. And even when you're coming out of certain spins, etc., you need to have quick reaction time to come out with good posture of your body and knowing your surroundings without actually turning your head. So I used to visualize all of this in the car on the way to the competition, so I knew I was mentally prepared for anything that came at me. And especially when you start visualizing your steps, exactly where you should be. For example, if you're on the left side, the right side, or up middle, when you're getting caught in the corner, I always made sure I had kind of a backup plan to look naturally getting out of that corner to come to the front, in front of the judges. I hope that helps, Chloe, with what I'm saying, but you need to just have backup options to your routine and your choreography, but you need to be smart about it, and you can't show anything in facial expression. So for example, if you're stuck in a corner and people are squishing you and all you're thinking about is your steps, you didn't actually have a backup plan to get out and get to the front. So confidence wise, mentally, before we got on stage, that made me so confident, because no matter what, I had all different patterns in my head for my choreography, making sure no matter what happened on stage, because this is out of your hands what happens on stage, don't forget, that I could make it look flawless. So I made sure that I had everything to a T on my way to the competition, and that was me ready, knowing that, well, I'm ready for anything. When I get up on that stage, it's out of my hands, I just have to perform.
But
so,
also your fitness tests before?
Oh yeah, of course. Like we were talking about in the academy, when I was training, physically seeing my fitness test progression week by week by week, power, speed, strength, upper back, lactic acid training, everything. I had proof of this every single week when I was going through my folder. So that straight away I knew how confident I was getting, because I was getting better, my increase in my power, my strength. And when you physically see that and feel it in dance class, your confidence just automatically grows. And I knew straight away, well, I'm working way ahead of my age group, so that helps as well. But to actually see facts of it, it's fantastic.
How many people watching practices at home the same speed as competition conditions? Okay? And actually you can answer this for me now. So how many dancers are watching? How many of you guys, when you're practicing at home, would practice at the same speed and intensity as what you do on stage? Right below, I want to know. Because you don't, right? It's people when practicing at home, they go through things a lot slower than what they would on stage. But the problem with this is, guys, is that when you're practicing slower than competition conditions, it's a completely different skill that you're learning, okay? And it just becomes repetition. It's a cyclical movement over and over again that you're practicing. Now, we've already established that, okay, good. We've already established that the guys at the top, what wins competitions? So you take the top 10 dancers on stage, what wins the competition? It's not their ability to dance, okay, because everybody can dance at that level.
Yep.
It's their ability to execute the movements sharp, powerfully,
Looking flawless on top.
aggressive, and acceleration and height, and all those key skills. Now, what part of home practice and a 6th day and a 7th day of dancing and all this extra work is working on those skills? because what you're actually working on is the technique of dancing. But you already know how to dance. Guys, when you know how to ride a bike, you know how to ride a bike. Lauren hasn't danced in 4 or 5 years. She could get up now and she could dance with the same technique as what you just done 4 or 5 years ago. What would be missing though?
Come back, guys. I'll do senior ladies.
What would be missing? It's not the dance technique, it's the speed, the sharpness, the height, the power. Okay? This goes for people who get injured as well. So loads of people will ask the question, and I'll fire this out now. If you're injured, so before words we're getting questions, I'm injured, I get injured 4 weeks before words, I get injured 3 weeks before words, what am I meant to do? And they're panicking because they can't dance. Okay, that's obviously an issue, but what you must think about is the fact that when you dance, you're practicing your technique, okay, with all this repetition. So what you gotta do is go, okay, I can't dance. Your technique, you're always gonna remember your technique. When you know those steps, you know those steps. What will drop very, very quickly is the fitness. And when we say fitness, we mean strength, power, speed, stamina, and all those things. So when you're looking at how many days do you dance, where is it that you're adding in these extra skills? Because that's what's winning competitions, not the ability to dance for hours and hours on end at a low intensity. And how do we know this? Because we can measure people's heart rates, okay? So in the past, when people used to say to us, no, you know, dancing 6 days per week in all this volume and all this home practice and there's nothing wrong with it and so on, I challenge you and all the guys on Instagram who we just asked there now to, if anybody's practicing slower than competition conditions at home, I challenge you to take your heart rate when you're practicing, or when you're doing 7 days per week of dancing, when you're practicing 3-4 times per day, take your heart rate and then take your heart rate at a competition on stage. And you will very quickly see the completely different zones that you're training in, because we've done this. And when we were building the academy, we've done a lot of experimenting with some workshop dancers, and they're dancing and training with all this repetition at 160 beats per minute, 165, 170 beats per minute. When they're on stage, they're 188, 190. And so you're training in this heart rate zone, but on stage you're in this heart rate zone. Now, I'm not saying that you can't practice at home and everything has to be competition conditions, but if you're practicing at home, what is the goal? If the goal is to learn new steps, then that's fine, because you acknowledge that you need to go through things slower than competition speed to pick them up. Totally fine. You're learning a new skill. What do you do when you have that skill? What do you do when you learn how to walk? You start running. What do you do when you actually know how to do your steps? You must do them at full speed. Otherwise, what is the goal? So when you're training, always ask yourself, what is the goal? What are you actually trying to get out of this training session? Is it to learn steps? Fine, you can do things a little bit slower. Is it to increase your fitness? Fine, increase your fitness, but realize that your technique's going to suffer. Is it to improve your actual technique, which is what we said is winning competitions these days? It's the speed, the sharpness, the power. So is it to improve those skills? Fine, then you're going to need a lot more rest, because you're going to need to be sharp and powerful and strong. So training 5-6 days per week, if it's structured correctly and you're working on a different thing each time, is fine. And so I hope that answers one of your questions, guys, about how many days you dance. Really, how many days does it take you to fit everything in, and where you're not starting to repeat more of the same.
Yep. Hi Lauren, I'm a 17-year-old dancer and I love working hard in class and outside it. My goals are small, and until I achieve them, then I'm going to aim higher. Is this realistic at my age in Irish dancing? Thanks so much, Kelly. Okay, Kelly, so you seem driven already. So the fact that you actually even have these little small goals and you're hitting them time and time again, then you've already won, you've achieved that. So that's fantastic. It's always realistic no matter what age you are. There's people at 30, 50, 60, they have goals and they're achieving goals. It doesn't matter, it doesn't go by age at all. And especially in the Irish dancing world, you have dancers now staying on to 30. You have dancers going to the worlds 27, 28, 29. So of course it's realistic for you, Kelly. Yes, you're making these small goals, right? And that's a goal. So you're hitting something every single day you wake up, you're hitting them. And that is fantastic. So like you just said, you know, once you hit the rest of the small goals, then you're going to be hitting higher goals, bigger goals.
Yep.
And you're on the perfect road to that. You know, I've seen your name come up a few times, Kelly, and I know that you're doing your strength training outside, and I know that you're doing your sprint training and so on, and you're just ticking off these little goals as you go along. So fantastic, keep up the hard work.